Good evening and a very warm welcome to Television Tonga's news package for this evening. Making headlines, Tonga commemorates World Teachers' Day today. Millennium Export presented its first harvest of squash production, to the Queen Mother Halaval Mata'aho, but was represented by her great-granddaughter, Honorable Tupovehola Fustua. China's assistance to Parliament to help improve the operations of the Legislative Assembly and Mana'avarapuna Water Committee benefit from a Japanese government assistance to their water supply. These and more stories later on in this bulletin. I'm Fatai Whainga with your news for tonight. The role of a teacher is a very important one. This was highlighted by Her Royal Highness Princess Salote Mafleo Pilolevutuita during a special program to mark World Teachers' Day today. Similar programs were also held in the outer islands to mark the day. In Dongatapu, hundreds of teachers, former teachers and educators gathered at the Atele Indoor Stadium for World Teachers' Day. Sinlatu was there and filed this report.
The guest of honor at the program to mark World Teachers' Day, Her Royal Highness Princess Salote Mafleo Pilolevutuita, stressed the duties carried out by teachers. Speaking to the gathering of educators, Princess Pilolevu, who's a former teacher, also highlighted this year's theme, A Call for Teachers. In Tonga, a call for teachers mean it is a call from God. It's like when pastors and ministers are called to do their job or to be evangelists or missionaries. To me, this is a wake-up call for teachers and to us, the people of the society, to remind and take note the important role of a teacher. Forgive me if my interpretation is wrong, but I think that teachers' responsibilities are vital. A call for teachers is an important call, and it needs to be recognized and embraced. A retired teacher and Tongatapu People's Representative No. 1, Akilisipo Hiva, relayed the joint message from UNESCO, ILO, UNDP, UNICEF and EI. He says it is time for teachers to stand together and to highlight their fundamental role.
On this World Teachers' Day, we joined forces to thank teachers and to call for more, better trained and supported teachers. Nothing can replace a good teacher. Evidence shows that teachers, their professional knowledge and skills are the most important factor for quality education. This requires stronger training upfront and continual professional development and support.
The prayer service for teachers was led by the Director for Ministry and Training. The event was attended by the Minister for Education and Training, Honorable Dr. Ana Tafe Ulungaki, education directors, principals, teachers and other people in the education field. Also attending the program were Lord Javier Tuihateho and New Zealand High Commissioner Mark Talbot, among other guests. World Teachers' Day is marked on October 5th with this year's theme, A Call for Teachers. Many schools were out today, so teachers from government and church schools could attend the program.
The shareholders of New Millennium Export made a presentation of its first harvest of squash production to the Queen Mother Halava Mata'aho. She was represented by her great-granddaughter, Honorable Tupovehola Fustua. Anastia Falecano was there and filed this report.
A 5-kilogram squash is one of the first harvest of squash production, which was presented to Honorable Tupovehola Fustua, who received it on behalf of the Queen Mother Halavalu Mata'aho. The presentation was made at Talalosia residence at Kolomotua. Upon receiving the gift, Honorable Tupovehola Fustua thanked New Millennium Export. On behalf of the Queen Mother, Halavalu Mata'aho, I would like to extend our thanks to Lesieli Namo and all the women involved for the commitment and hard work in the production and export of our local squash. I pray that our Heavenly Father will continue to bless us all in our work. A shareholder of the New Millennium Export, Ofasimiki, shares the challenges in producing and exporting squash. As women in this business, we are committed to produce and export our local squash overseas. There are lots of challenges, especially financially. There are lots of expenses in the producing, harvest and packing of squash. The manager of the New Millennium Export, Lesieli Namo, says they work with many women in producing and exporting squash to foreign markets. She adds although this kind of work is taken by men, but women can do it as well. Anasiu Falekano for Television Tonga News.
The Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, Lord Fafanua, shares his hopes that the assistance donated from the Chinese government will help assure the quality level of the operations of the Legislative Office. He revealed this in his vote of thanks in a special program to mark the donation received from the International Department of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, or IDCBC. Kalolaine Donglava was at the Parliament this morning and filed this report. The Speaker of the House, Lord Fafanua, and the Chinese ambassador signing the agreement for the assistance from China to the office of the Legislative Assembly. The assistance includes office furniture and technical and electrical appliances, including computers, cameras, and other electronic equipment worth more than $80,000. In a speech from the Speaker of the House, Lord Fafanua, he says the assistance provided will help with the House operations.
Last October, myself and 5 other members from the Parliament, including the Clerk of the House, were invited by the Communist Party of China to visit China. It was a most educational trip, and consequently we were able to familiarize ourselves with the political structure of the Communist Party. The result of our trip to the International Department of the Central Committee of the Communist Party was a donation of these office furniture and electrical equipment. We are deeply honored to receive this gift, and we believe that it will generate our staff to work more efficiently, let alone comfortably, to assure a competent level of quality in the running of the Legislative Office. For this, we are deeply indebted.
In the speech from the Chinese ambassador to Tonga, His Excellency Wang Donghua, he highlighted the importance of enhancing the bilateral relations between China and Tonga.
And I think the donation is a part of the achievement Lord Speaker achieved during his visit to China last year. And it's also a token of friendly sentiments of the Communist Party and the International Department in particular towards the people of Tonga, and a form of their support for improving the office facilities in the Parliament here. I think it is gratifying to note there have been increased exchanges between the International Department of the CPC and the Parliament of Tonga in recent years. I think that's the natural extension of the overall relationships between our two countries growing from strength to strength, and also a symbol of the new progress scored in advancing our bilateral relationship. I think some of the members of Parliament have visited China at the invitation of the International Department of the CPC, and that helps them learn a lot about the Chinese political system and the economic development. So probably I can say now you are in a better position to have a better picture, a whole picture about China, about what China looks like. I think these exchanges have enhanced the bilateral of the mutual understanding between our two sides. And
Also attending today's presentation were the Honourable Minister of Police, Prisons and Fire Services and Minister for Inland Revenue, Sesifatu Tafaiva, Tongatapu People's Representative Number 8, Sione Tayone. Also at today's program was the Clerk of the House, Gloria Poleo, and the rest of the Parliament staff. Reporting for Television Tonga News, I'm Caroline Tonglava. After facing inconsistent water supply for many years, Whamato residents have received help to improve the distribution of their water supply. The Japanese ambassador to Tonga, His Excellency Dr. Kasujika Hamuro, this morning presented the Malaipapuna Water Supply Committee at Whamato with assistance estimated at 200,000 paanga. Whanonga Veikoso was there and filed this report.
New water tanks were presented by the government of Japan to Whaamotu residents today. The assistance provided include 2 5,000-gallon water tanks, a solar pump unit, a diesel engine, and other items to build a fence around the site. The Whaamotu town officer Vili Lui says they are thankful for the generous donation, which will deal with the problem of an inconsistent water supply. The water supply in our village has been a problem for a long time. The equipment is very old, but we are thankful for this assistance, which resolves our problems with access to water. A senior economist from the Treasury Department, Sanelolo, was also at the handover ceremony in which the funds for the assistance comes via their department. The residents asked for help from the Japan government, so the assistance was provided via the Treasury Department and the National Planning Ministry. Japan presented the town with the new water supply, other resources as well, including a new fence. The generous donation ensures easy access of Whaamotu residents to the water supply for their daily needs. The handover ceremony was attended by His Serene Highness Prince Tuipelehake and the Minister for Internal Affairs, Lord Vaea, among other guests. Whanonga Veikoso for Television Tonga News.
The Minister of Internal Affairs, Lord Vaea, this morning launched the first invitation known as Calls for Application 2013, which aims to support non-state actors and support for private sector associations. Caroline Tonglawa takes up that story. This project is under the 10th European Development Fund for Tonga. In the remarks from the Honourable Minister of Internal Affairs, Lord Vaea, he says this is the first opportunity granted for the private sector by government to work together and boost the economy.
This operation runs from the 26th of February 2013 until the 25th of August 2014 to use 900,000 euros or approximately 2.16 million Tongan paanga, available for the support of 4 focus areas. First, support to the National Authority Officer's Office, implemented with the Aid Management Division in the Ministry of Finance and National Planning. 2, support for the construction of the newer Toputapu Hospital. 3, support for good governance and reforms through the Tonga Energy Roadmap or TERM program, capacity building programs of local governments under the portfolio of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, as well as training of CEOs from relevant ministries in the area of public financial management reform to better understand planning, budgeting and aid coordination phases. 4th and last, support for the capacity building of NSAs in Tonga. Today we are here to launch some of this fund to address the last focus area of the TCF operation, which is to support the capacity building of the non-state actors in Tonga with the amount of 71,000 euros or 170,000 Tongan paanga. This European Union procedure is done through a call for proposals that we are launching today, and it is the first of its kind to be done in Tonga.
Lord Vaea says, since the program is quite new, interested parties are invited to attend a pre-training program next week. An officer from the EU office in Suva Eleni Leveni Teve is in the kingdom to lead the training program, which the training aims to guide non-government organizations on the proper way of writing proposals. Meanwhile, information from the Ministry of Finance confirmed that the deadline for submissions for the full application is November 28th. Residents in a Western district will have easier access to health services with the completion of renovation work to Kolowai's Health Centre. The Honourable Minister of Health, Lord Diafito, marked this in a special program this morning. This is funded by the Australian Government via AusAid. The Health Minister says the centre was first established in 1996 to mark the 70th birthday of the Queen Mother, Alaval Mutaaho. Anasi Falikano was there and filed this report.
A program was held to mark the completion of renovation work to Kolowai Health Centre. This was attended by the First Secretary of the Australian High Commissioner in Tonga, Scott McLennan, who told the gathering the health clinic also helps people in the district combat non-communicable diseases such as diabetes and high blood pressure.
In the wake of the non-communicable diseases epidemic, which is claiming the lives of many Tongan people, health centres like this one will help halt the rise in NCD-related illnesses. The Australian Government has been committed to responding to the NCD epidemic in Tonga since 2009, when it committed 7.5 million Australian dollars to improve health outcomes in Tonga under the Tonga Health Systems Support Program.
Kolowai's district nurse Limisesi Kaivelata told Television Tonga News before renovation work was carried out to the clinic, people in the community had to go to Viola Hospital for checkups and treatment. The clinic is now beautiful. We're very happy with the assistance. They've also renewed the equipment and other resources in the clinic. Before the renovation work, people had to go to Viola Hospital for treatment or medical assistance. Now we can provide all that in the clinic with the new facilities. Also attending today's program was Tongatapu's People's Representative for Constituency No. 5, Dr. Isaac Eke, the Health Director, Dr. Sally Akauola, among other guests. The Kolowai Health Centre also provides health services to 10 villages in the Western District, which has close to 600 families.
The General Manager of Tonga Water Board, Simone Helo, has confirmed that there has been no increase in the price of water in Tongatapu or the outer islands over the past few years. This was clarified after parliamentary reports presented in the House state that the water tariff is among concerns raised by people during parliamentary visits. Television Tonga News has been following some parliamentary visits this year where people expressed their complaints of the expensive water bill and inconsistent water supply. However, the General Manager of Tonga Water Board confirms that the water tariff has been the same for the past 7 or 6 years to date. The price of water is 2 pa'anga and 9 seniti for 1,000 litres of waters in Nuku'alofa, 1 pa'anga and 34 seniti in Ewa, 2 pa'anga and 11 seniti in Hapai, and 2 pa'anga and 13 seniti in Vava'o. Tonga Water Board's consultant, Pita Moala, believes that the high water for consumers could be due to a leak in the underground water pipes. Therefore, the water pipes need to be checked and serviced. Tonga is still below the list of the countries that records the most water loss on non-revenue water. Although we're in a satisfactory condition, our water supplies still need to be checked and monitored for leakages in order not to affect the water tariff. The water bill is distributed to consumers twice a month, where Mr. Helu says this helps them notice if there is a leak in the water pipes through the first and second reading. Also, if consumers did not receive the first water bill, they can receive the second one. He adds that the changes made is also based on complaints from consumers not receiving a water bill. Despite all of this, Mr. Helu says they are doing their best to meet the people's needs and provide consistent water supply for consumers. And as the local news, sports is up next with Pierre Ollier.
In sport, Tonga Rugby Union Vice President Soape Tuiono this morning announced the 30-man squad for the Iga Line team that will depart Tonga next month for the November tour to Europe. The team's national coach, Mana Odain, told Radio and Television Tonga Sports News that this is the best team ever, after some of the international players pledged their time for Tonga. He says 4 of the uncapped players have also been named for the national team, including Suliasi Taufalele from the counties Manukau, Willie Kolofa'e of France, Sisate Havili of Japan, and Latiume Foster of New Zealand. Meanwhile, the captain of the team, Nelly Lato, has again been called for the team, but the officials are yet to identify whether if there are changes on the captaincy position in the upcoming battles with Romania, France, and Wales. 12 women's soccer clubs in Nuku'alofa were fortunate to receive sporting gears thanks to an assistance from the Tonga Football Association. The assistance was presented to the local clubs by the TFA Development Officer, Adelaide Tuvailala. The sporting gears will help the local talented players to further their skills and training to meet the international standards. In the meantime, the TFA representative says the assistance was from the FIFA aiming at enhancing and empowering women football players in Tonga. However, Emelita Moala of the Veitonga club says such donations will draw attention of newcomers to the sports, especially the young ones. Arati Bomana of Aini also spoke on the benefit they gained from such donations, which includes their ability to compete with confidence. The assistance includes soccer balls of several sporting gears, where parts of the donation will be presented to 8 soccer clubs in Vava'o. The Lavenga Malia Sevens tournament will kick off on the 29th of next month to mark the 10th anniversary of this tournament. This was revealed by the chairman of the Lavenga Malia Cup Chairman, Honorable Sengsta Saulala. He told Radio and Television Tonga Sports News that after the Sevens tournament, they will proceed to this 15-man court, in which the first prize will be 35,000 per anga, whilst the best players are to be awarded as well. The chairman says that 2 characteristics needed to be identified with the players, which includes developing of their spiritual life and recognize the best players, in which it shows the well-prepared of a player of each team. However, the Lavenga Malia Cup is available to every club in the kingdom and abroad. Honorable Sengsta Saulala wishes to thank the support from every participant and acknowledge the help from its members.